Hello everybody, my name is ingeniousclown, and welcome to a brand new series where we form a quick first impression on 3 different games that you may or may not care about. Today we're going to be looking at Book of Demons, Creeper World Anniversary Edition, and Chicken Assassin Master of Humiliation. If you're interested in any of these games in particular, check the description below for a timestamp to that game's section, as well as a link to where you can buy it. Otherwise, enjoy the show! Book of Demons is a bit of a weird game that is nothing if not pure inspiration. It won't take you long to spot the obvious similarities to the classic Blizzard RPG, Diablo. There's a cathedral with a huge dungeon underneath it, an old man who identifies items for you, a magical woman who deals in magical items, and even a big meaty axe-wielding boss creature called the Cook, not to be confused with the Butcher. However, the gameplay is a lot simpler than it is in Diablo. Each level is procedurally generated like usual, but you're constrained to a very specific path in that level, with a few branches here and there. At first, it's a little weird because even the warrior, who you'd expect to be a pure melee character, has a decent amount of range on his attacks. The combat mechanics are just as simple. All you gotta do is click on your enemies and they lose health. Your character has a chance to miss, but it's not a big deal because you can just hold your mouse button down on any enemy for damage. The game will slowly introduce new mechanics to you, such as frozen hearts that are harder to do damage to without fire damage, fire hearts that are harder to do damage to without ice damage, various status effects, and new enemy attacks. Fret not, however, for your toolset expands quite a bit throughout the game. See all these empty slots here on the bottom? As you go through the game and earn more and more gold, you unlock more slots to put cards in, which gives you more options and more overall power. Oh, and you can level up too. When you level up, you can increase your health or mana stat as you need more of one or the other, and every time you level up, every enemy has one less heart, which means it takes one less attack for you to defeat that enemy. It's a clever way to make you feel more powerful, and it works. Everything about this game pushes on your nostalgia buttons in all the right ways, and the progression system keeps you engaged and interested the whole way. I found myself enjoying this game's relatively simple mechanics as a way to relax because I can just turn my brain off and let myself just react to what I see. Also, it's worth noting that this game is part of a collection called Return to Games. If this particular game is anything to base this collection on, what we'll have is a collection of simple reimaginings of some of our favorite games of the past. This is a huge endeavor, and the only game here so far is Book of Demons, but if this is what Return to Games is gonna be, count me in. You can find the game for $20 on Steam, and if you're anything like me, it's totally worth your money. Creeper World Anniversary Edition is a relatively simple strategy game with a simple premise that, once I started to understand it, sucked me in pretty hard. The idea is easy enough to understand. You're in the far future, and an all-devouring entity known only as the Creeper is devouring planets and destroying humanity. You're the last of humanity, and your goal is simply to push the Creeper back just enough to activate all the totems and float your city into the safety of the resulting wormhole, and then doing it all over and over again on the next world. You do this by creating a network of energy collectors that collect energy from the land, and these don't stack, so you've got to place them carefully if you want to be efficient. And notice that I said network. I use that word very deliberately. Collectors connect to every building that you build to create a network that expands out from your home base, and every resource that is used to power your weapons and supply the resources to build your various buildings originate from your home base. So you need to make sure that everything is connected. The beginning of each map is a frantic struggle for survival as you establish your network, followed by eventual stabilization, then you slowly become the Creeper yourself as you begin to reclaim the land and push back the monster by slowly moving your weapons towards the source of the enemy. It's a very simple concept that's executed very well, and I find it a great way to just relax at the end of a long day with its methodical gameplay. Creeper World is actually a franchise at this point, and this is the remastered version of the original game that was just recently released on Steam. This is my first real foray into the franchise, but I didn't dive in blind. In fact, if you want to try it yourself before you buy it, you can head over to congregate.com and search for Creeper World to play many of the different versions. But I would recommend the one called Training Sim first, because it'll give you a nice little tutorial, which I think is kinda necessary for a game like this. In fact, I'll give you a link to that particular game in the description below. Creeper World is a lot more fun than it looks, and you can pick it up for a mere $5 on Steam. Have you ever wanted to play a clicker or idle game without having it be free to play? Well, Chicken Assassin Master of Humiliation has you covered. So yeah, Chicken Assassin is a clicker game that you have to pay for, and it's a pure clicker, no idle mechanics whatsoever. Early on in the game it's not so bad, but after a while I found my wrist getting pretty tired from having to click so quickly and so often to get through these levels. Every new level you go to is harder than the last, and after a while it just gets exhausting. That's not to say that the game doesn't have any redeeming factors though. It's at least a little addicting at the beginning as you get upgrades at a quicker rate, but overall even the upgrades are just kind of
boring.
As a clicker game, it unfortunately fails to really hook you for any significant amount of time. For the cost of this game on Steam, which is $2, you're probably better off donating to the creator of Kitten's Game, Google it, or spending that money on gems and clicker heroes. There are many better games in this genre that are on the market that I would recommend you check out instead, and you can play them for free. Overall, I wasn't really impressed with this game at all. Chicken Assassin even has specific achievements for liking them on social media. That alone should give you a little bit of an idea of the overall quality of this game. But for a mere $2 on Steam, what would you expect? So that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I want to keep sharing interesting games with you all, and this is a new format that I'm trying out, so I'd love to hear what you think about it, so please share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to do all the usual social media stuff. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at ingeniousclown, and I will see you next time.